Greetings and konnichiwa, and welcome to the Onyx Tavern. I'm your host, Rick the Barkeep, bringing you podcast 114 here at the Tavern, presented by Hirotaku.com. Now, if you had been on the internet for any extended period of time today, you will have seen dozens of links from several different outlets for a, quote, Power Rangers fan film / reboot / gritty, darker, whatever, unquote. Somebody has posted a, again, gritty, remake, fan film, whatever, of the Power Rangers, simply titled Power / Rangers. Yes, it doesn't even have actually a good title. It's Power / Rangers, not even Power Rangers, whatever. And all my friends who are Power Rangers fans and non-Power Ranger fans, they keep asking me, what do you think about this? Isn't this cool? Isn't this awesome? Tell me what you think about it. And I've told them what I thought about it, and I absolutely hate it. I think it is horrible. It is worse than RPM. Seriously, it's worse than Megaforce. It's worse than Super Megaforce. Because they just don't get it. And I'm going to go ahead and talk to you guys today about why I think this particular fan film, whatever you want to call it, is horrible and is doing a disservice to Power Rangers overall. Now, I have posted a link in the comments section here, so I first suggest that you guys go watch it. I don't really want to promote it, but in order for you to understand my rage at this, you have to go ahead and watch and understand it, so go ahead and do that. I'll wait for you. Alright, that's enough time. I also want to make the disclaimer that I am in no way going to be objective in this discussion. I am very subjective when it comes to Power Rangers. I hope I've made that clear through a number of videos. And when I'm passionate about a subject, you know, I'm gung-ho over it. And I'm going to be as passionate as I can here. I am reacting with my raw emotions on this because when I saw this, I just had this gut reaction that this was incredibly wrong. And I'm going to explain to you guys why it's incredibly wrong and why we need to call out the film's director, Joseph Kahn, on this bullshit. And that's exactly what it is. Because after watching this film and after reading an article in which he made a quote here, Joseph Kahn does not understand nor does he respect Power Rangers, which I believe are two things that you need to make a successful Power Rangers anything, to make something that is good. Now, let's actually talk about this real quick, because I've said it a number of times. Nicholas Meyer, who directed Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, and yes, Khan, whatever. When he went into the project, or even before he went to the project, he sat down and watched every episode of the original series, so that when he went in there, he understood the characters, he understood what made them great, he understood what they can do, what they can't do. He knew them more than the actors knew themselves. I mean, frankly, you know, he knew Spock better than Leonard Nimoy knew Spock at that particular time. But even though he wasn't a fan, he took the time to do research and understand the project. Joseph Kahn, on the other hand, does not understand Power Rangers. After watching this, it is just horribly obvious that he doesn't understand the first thing about Power Rangers. And that is reinforced by this point that is made in the Esquire article. He basically says that he wanted to make a darker, grittier version that everybody keeps talking about. And he wanted to do it with, and I quote here, essentially a really incredibly silly property. Unquote. That is the first problem, Mr. Kahn. You have no respect for Power Rangers. If you sit there and say it's an incredibly silly property, then you don't get it. And you are not the person that is meant to direct this. You are not the person who should be in charge of this product. Because not only does he have no respect for Power Rangers, it seems incredibly obvious as well, he doesn't understand anything about Power Rangers. If again, those of you who watch the video, they will drop names of characters, they will drop things related to those characters, but the characters don't act like the way the characters would. And I will give you the most egregious error of any of these characters, and that is the characterizations of Bulk and Skull. Now, in this episode, or whatever this is, I still don't know what to call this damn thing. we have a shot of where Kimberly and Jason have just gotten married and are hanging out in a trailer park. Why? Who knows? And they are ambushed by Bulk and Skull and a couple of other rednecks with machine guns, and they proceed to gun down Jason and smack Kimberly in the head. Now, I ask you, what version of Power Rangers in the history of forever has ever depicted Bulk and Skull as these types of people? People that would kill the Power Rangers, and basically the plot is they betrayed them to the Machine Empire. What interpretation of Bulk and Skull has that? This is what I mean by Kahn doesn't understand the characters. It has been established since Season 1 that Bulk and Skull may be bullies, but they have hearts of gold. Their hearts are typically in the right place, and they're only acting owls because they don't have any friends themselves. I mean, that was their whole character. And on 2 occasions, Bulk and Skull were willing to die for the Power Rangers. You want to know when? Obviously, there's Countdown to Destruction, where they offer themselves up, say, we are the Power Rangers, which they would have been killed, you know, by Astronema had the actual Power Rangers not intervened. And then when is a Ranger not a Ranger? When the Rangers didn't have their memories, they stood up to the monster to get the Rangers' memories back. They could have been killed themselves. You know, all they did is got their memories wiped. So, Bulk and Skull, bumbling idiots that they are, would never do this. And yes, I know that you're saying that it's a reimagining of the characters, but you don't reimagine Bulk and Skull as vicious psychopaths based on the source material that you have. You know, and let's bring back another Star Trek reference here. Let's look at J.J. Abrams when he redid Star Trek. You know, the thing is, yeah, you got a character who's playing, you got a Korean man who's playing a Japanese character, but the fact of the matter is, he's at least playing Sulu. He's doing things that George Takei would have done in the original Star Trek. They didn't turn Sulu, you know, into some psychopathic Japanese samurai or something. They didn't do that because they understood the character. Let's also talk about things from the real world intruding onto this film that just don't belong. All right, let's talk about Star Trek. Let's talk about George Takei, because you know what? This is a great parallel. As we all know, George Takei, one of the most wonderful human beings on the planet, is homosexual. All right. But he has stated on numerous occasions that his character, Hikaru Sulu, is not gay, and Demora Sulu being evidence of that. Because he plays a character that is straight. Just because George Takei is gay doesn't mean that Sulu himself is gay. However, in this interpretation, Billy is homosexual. Now, is there anything in and of itself wrong with Billy being gay? No. But because they don't understand the character of Billy, who was always heterosexual, even left Earth to be with a female alien, but still a female, turns him into a homosexual millionaire. Again, there's nothing wrong with being a homosexual millionaire, but you can't slap Billy's name on it and say, oh, this is Billy the Blue Ranger, the same character that you knew 22 years ago. You can't do that. You can't have that real life thing really intrude upon it. Because David Yost is gay, Billy Cranston is not. Let's talk about more character assassination here. We have Rocky, who has betrayed the other Rangers to the Machine Empire. Why? Why has Rocky betrayed the Power Rangers to the Machine Empire? At what point in any of Power Rangers history has Rocky ever been a traitor? Or shown that he has evil tendencies? Rocky, for all the problems that I have with him as the successor to Jason, is still a decent guy. His character is a decent character. And of all the Rangers I would imagine that could turn evil and betray their own team, Rocky is not one of them. You did a whole episode called Rocky Just Wants to Have Fun, where it talks about his playful nature and how Zed puts a spell on him to basically bring that out and make him more playful to where he's a danger to the team. Rocky has never been depicted as being anywhere near the potential of being a traitor. And yet, we have this guy who has to play the rough military guy in our antagonist, and we decided to make it Rocky. Why? Why was that particular choice made? I want to know these particular choices. I want to know where they came from. Also, look at the image that I have in front of you. This is the Red Ranger helmet that they have chosen. And then, of course, in the video, look at the Black Ranger's helmet. I think you'll notice something pretty quick. There are no dinosaurs on these helmets. Why? Why did you reimagine it to give them armor, which is not in of itself a bad thing, but to strip them of the dinosaur motif? We see the Megazord, albeit briefly in the in this thing, and it looks like it's made of dinosaurs. So where are the dinosaurs on the helmets? Why did you make that aesthetic change to remove the dinosaurs from it and make them these generic soldiers? Which, by the way, the whole thing opens with them using automatic rifles to fight whatever it is that they're fighting. Come on, people. Would the Power Rangers actually use guns like that? No. The short even has Billy referencing blade blasters, which, as we all know, are particle weapons. So why is it that Billy is marketing particle weapons, which, again, I still don't understand that part, and yet the Rangers are using automatic rifles at the beginning? You can't say that they've had these and have particle rifles at the same time. Let's see, what else is with this? Alright, I will say one thing that I'm kind of on the fence about. Instead of giving Tommy an actual shield as the Green Ranger, they did give him kind of like a force field that's like built into the suit. I'm kind of on the fence of whether or not that's a good thing or not. Needless to say, it's okay. Whatever. Let's see. So, and Jason gets offed off quickly. All we know is that he married Kimberly. Now, why would he marry Kimberly? Now, I know the twist at the end would probably justify that, but Jason had no romantic interest in Kimberly at all throughout the series. That was all Tommy. If Jason had any romantic interest in somebody other than Emily, who, by the way, was his girlfriend during Zeo, it would probably be Trini, who, also, by the way, Trini, yeah, she's just dead. No rhyme, no reason. She's dead. Whatever. Which in itself is also a disservice. You couldn't even give her a character. But then again, these people don't have characters other than being dark and gritty and all that. And again, I want to know, where are these people getting their information about Power Rangers? Because according to the narration, or Rocky, the Machine Empire has taken over Earth. And yet we have reference to the Mighty Morphin era and no reference to the Zeo Era. So what kind of timeline is this? They were all Mighty Morphin Rangers recruited by Zordon, and then the Machine Empire took over? Did they never find the Zeo Crystal? Is that what happened? Is that the diverging point, that they never found the Zeo Crystal and thus they were defeated by the Machine Empire? And it's also curious to me that the Machine Empire doesn't actually make an appearance in this. They say the Earth was taken over or formed a treaty with the Machine Empire, yet we never see machines. We always see Rocky and his goons, and Zack beating up on a bunch of North Koreans, which also doesn't make any sense. Okay. I'm trying to reel it in here, but the problem, and this is what I stated on the YouTube account myself, and you can find my comment, is that this lacks the heart and the spirit of the original Power Rangers. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. Now, I am not saying that you cannot do a gritty, violent interpretation of the Power Rangers. If you want to do that, go ahead. But for the love of goodness, get it right. Get the characters right. Make Bulk and Skull the people they're supposed to be. Don't make Bulk somebody who shoots up on drugs and then will turn over the Power Rangers at the drop of a hat. Unless there is something you did to change Bulk's character to do this, you shouldn't do it. And again, I'm not against reboots or reimaginings, but you're basically taking good people and putting them in the role of villains. I mean, so what if they did a reinterpretation of Doug, Disney's Doug on Nickelodeon by Jim Jenkins and all that? What if they did a gritty reinterpretation of it and Doug is a serial killer? I bet if you were a Doug fan or anybody who had passing knowledge to what Doug was, you'd basically be like, Doug's not a killer. There's no reason for that. He always wants to be the hero and help people, and he's the intelligent one. To make Doug a serial killer would be a betrayal of the character. And that's exactly what they've done here. They have betrayed all the characters. They've turned them into something that they're not. The only person that has the slightest bit of reasonable motivation in this, or actually the only two people, are Tommy, who we barely see, and Rita, who shows up at the end. Those are the only characters that have somewhat of a motivation that actually makes sense to their original characters. But the others, they don't have anything. I mean, the character they have for Zach, I mean, he's like one of those football stars or basketball stars. He's like LeBron James or something, but happens to be a secret agent or something. I don't know. It frustrates me. And the fact is that people enjoy this, say this is much better than the original Power Rangers. Why is it much better? Because it's violent? Because it's gritty? Because it's dark? I mean, you have a character on there called Zach Taylor, but he is not Zach Taylor. This is, and yes, I'm going to use yet another Star Trek reference. This is like in Into Darkness. You can't take Benedict Cumberbatch and slap the name Kahn on him and accept us to buy that that's the character. If you didn't have this any related to Power Rangers and you were to tell me, oh, that's Zach, that's Kimberly, that's Billy, I would say, bullshit. Those are not the characters. You just put their names on people who are in no way like them. So I don't get it. And then there are articles out there, again, the Esquire article is saying that millennials will enjoy this. Why? Because do they think we like violence? Do they actually think we watch Power Rangers for the violence? Who watches Power Rangers just for the violence? I mean, come on. I don't watch Power Rangers for violence. I watch it for characters, I watch it for story, and yes, the action's fun, but that's not the solitary purpose. They are making this under the understanding that people who like Power Rangers would like Power Rangers because it's violent. That is not the case. If you justify the characters and say they would do this because they're violent, well, again, you have to make characters. You didn't do that, Kahn. Yeah, he didn't do that. Did not do that at all. So again, the people who made this have no understanding of what makes Power Rangers good. I would not be a bit surprised if this started off as another property and then they put Power Rangers over it to try to get people like me to watch it. Because again, this is not Power Rangers. This in no sense of the term is Power Rangers. Chippendale's Rescue Rangers is more Power Rangers than this piece of garbage. So, I recommend to all of you all, go on the YouTube page, tell them how much you guys don't like this. I mean, if you guys like it, good for you. But again, this is not Power Rangers, and we should not pretend that it is Power Rangers. Alright, so I think I've made my point. I think you guys get it. So I'm not going to harp on it any longer. So if you like it, go ahead and enjoy it. Watch as many times as you want. But I hope you understand my point of view here, and that this is not really Power Rangers. They've taken something, and they've taken something they do not respect and turned it into something that they think people will enjoy. That's what they've done. And I just hope that when the new Power Rangers film comes out, that they don't take any cues from this, that they don't think this is what Power Ranger fans want to see. Because it is not. This is not the type of thing that Power Ranger fans are expecting. And the fact that you are associating this with Power Ranger fans like myself and think, oh, they will love this just because it's Power Rangers. No, we have higher standards than that, dumbass. I know this is sounding a lot like my Bandai rant, so... Alright, that's all I'm going to say for it right now. If something comes up, another news article, some new points are brought up, or Kahn comes out and says more than disrespect of Power Rangers, then I will go ahead and say more of it. But as is, this is what I'm going to go ahead and say there. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time, the tavern is now closed.